O mankind, you should be mindful of your duty to Allah.
Train the child the way he should go, and when he grows, he will not depart from it.
One person who, when you empower her, she can do a lot.
Bad company corrupts good character.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful. Whoso acts righteously, whether male or female, and is a believer, we will surely grant him a pure life, and we shall surely bestow on such their rewards according to the best of their works. Holy Quran, chapter 16, verse 98. My cherished viewers, I greet you all with the Islamic salutation of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And welcome you all to another edition of A Woman's Perspective. Today on A Woman's Perspective, we are going to discuss the status of women in Islam. I am privileged to have with me two educationists to help me digest this topic. To my far left is Mrs. Aisha Kusiwa Anas, who is an educationist and currently the Education Secretary for Asafo Circuit Lajna Imaila. Madam Aisha, assalamu alaikum. Mrs. Hannah Nuhuyate, who is also an educationist and currently the Publicity Secretary for Kaswa Circuit Lajna. Madam Hannah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. Welcome to A Woman's Perspective.
Thank you very much.
Before we move into the status of women in Islam, I'll start with you, Madam Aisha. What was the status of women before the advent of Islam?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي علمني ما هو خير عندك. The status of women before Islam. Status is prestige, power, freedom, or rank of a person in relation to others in a social order or law. The status of women in the pre-Islamic era was a deplorable one. When you go to India in the pre-Islamic era, female infanticide and widow burning was the order of the day. The widow preferred being dead than to stay alive, to go through the ill treatment at that time. The women, they were prevented from even sacrificing to the deities, and they were prevented from studying the Vedas. They were considered impure at that time. So among the Athens, the women were a commodity of the market. They were transferred from one man to the other. They were chattels, I should say. The nature of the women during that era was nothing to go to write home about.
What about in Arabia, where the Holy Prophet Muhammad came? What was the status of women there?
Before the Holy Prophets of Islam, in the pre-Islamic era, the Arabians, they used to have the marriage between stepmothers. The women were a part of property for the heir to succeed. So they married them, and this sprang about the impious marriage, about this marrying to the stepsons, and they had the polygamy, which was not restricted. So the women were relegated to the background so much so that they were treated like beasts. They served as servants, and with the advent of the Holy Prophet, he made the massive change, and the women were elevated from the ground.
Thank you very much. Madam Hannah, you have anything to add to that? Or when you finish adding anything, also tell us how Islam raised the status of women.
Jazakumullah. Alhamdulillah. If you listen to what my dear sister has just said, you would realize that the state was very bad. The state in which women were too bad. It was nothing to write home about. But we realized that with the advent of the Holy Prophet, things turned over. Things changed, and now women were seen all over in a very good and accommodating status. Spiritually, women, I'll refer here to Quran chapter 4, verse 125, where Almighty Allah revealed to the Prophet that, "But whoso does good works, whether male or female, and is a believer, such shall enter heaven and shall not be wronged even as much as the little hollow in the back of a date stone." This chapter makes us realize that the state of a woman should not be the state my sister was talking about. Yeah. Women should be regarded as a treasure. Women should be regarded as something very important. Women should be regarded as a backbone of a community. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that whether male or female, whoso does good will enter heaven, then who are we human to lessen women to such a state? Astaghfirullah, may Allah forgive such errors. Economically too, during the time of the Prophet, we realized that women could work and own properties.
Before they couldn't.
But before they themselves were even properties of their husbands. But during the time of the Prophet, with the advent of Islam, women were now allowed to work and own properties. Even when a woman is going to be married, you have to pay the dowry, which is an embodiment of a seed which can emphasize on the fact that the woman, can also work and own something that she can call her own. Another part of it also tells us that women now had an intellectual status where they had the right to be educated. They had the right to education, where women will learn and will now go home to train their children, where women will learn and will now help their husband. So we realize that the status of women during the advent of the Prophet was a comforting one. It was a very good state where women were now okay with their nature and could do anything they want at the right time.
Yeah. Sister Aisha, I read somewhere that even before the advent of the Holy Prophet, some people among them, when they even give birth to women, they didn't like it when they gave birth to girls. Can you enlighten us on that aspect?
In the pre-Islamic era, the practice of killing of infants was abolished. The Holy Quran chapter 6 verse 152 was brought about. That's brought about the stoppage. It reads, "Slay not your children for fear of poverty. It is we who provide for you and for them, and approach not foul deeds, whether open or secret." Like when parents give birth to female, they were humiliated, they were derided, and they found ways of killing them. The Holy Prophet told them that if you are able to raise two righteous females, heaven is for you. You get your reward forever.
So Islam really raised
because women, we gave birth to prophets. We trained them to the status of prophethood. Yeah. So that status alone,
it's not.
Yes, it's not.
I will come back to you again, Sister Aisha. You see, women in Islam. The status of women in Islam, is it different from all the other religions? Because before Islam, there was Christianity, there was Jewish. Can you throw light on that? Was it different?
Oh, you see, in the Islamic, the pre-Islamic era, the Christians, even among the Christians, when you go to the Bible, we see that Paul, who was the saint at that time, was able to tell women that they should be secluded the women were not supposed to teach.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be relegated on the background, that even if you are taught by a woman, that teaching was not a good one. And this, in the Bible also, there was this prominent writer by name Bernard. He also spoke ill of the women. Yeah. And the Holy Prophet said that the women were the pathway to paradise. And this elevated the women from the
pathway
background.
To paradise.
Yes. The pathway to paradise. There is a hadith that in Muslim that the woman, heaven lies under the feet of mothers.
Wow.
So you have to give reverence to your mother, and that will lead you to paradise.
Okay, so that means the woman's status as a mother. Heaven lies under the feet of mothers. So the woman's status as a mother has been raised so much.
Somebody asked the question that whom should I give much reverence to? And 3 times the Holy Prophet said that Kala summa man. Kala summa man 3 times before he said
what does that mean?
Summan abuka. You give reverence to your mother, your mother 3 times before he said to your father. And that elevates the status of women before the...
So even in the Quran, Sister Hannah, I think that God stated that in the Quran, something that showed that the mother is the status of the mother is really high. What advice the Quran gives to children about their mothers?
Quran chapter 31 verse 15, and I read, "And we have enjoined man to be good to his parents. His mother bears him in weakness upon weakness, and his weaning takes 2 years." For this Quranic ayah, this elevates the mother, that you see, look at the pain the mother went through. And if you are of age and you don't respect your parent or your mother, it means you are not grateful to your God. And this elevated the woman. The Holy Prophet emphasized the love and respect due to the mother, saying, as I said earlier, that paradise lies under the feet of mothers.
Yeah. So it's not only the Holy Prophet who said, the Holy Quran itself also elevated the status of the mother.
Yes.
Madam Hannah, please, let's talk about the status of the woman as a wife.
Jazakallah. The status of a woman as a wife is also a very difficult situation which God has given to women. But with prayers, women are able to undergo that without any stress. Let's look at the situation of Hazrat Khadija. Hazrat Khadija, who was the wife of the Holy Prophet. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When the Prophet received his divine grace for the first time, he was shivering. He was shivering with fear because what he had seen was beyond his understanding. Whom did he run to? His wife. Because the Prophet knew, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, knew it is in his wife that he will have that comfort. It is in his wife that he will have that peace. So after he had run to his wife, what did the wife say? The wife said, "I have known you for some time, and I know you look after the requirement of the needy and share their miseries. You are a person who carries the burdens of those who see but you are the person who carries the burden of those who are broken under the load of affliction." These were words, a comforting words the wife was giving to her husband to relieve him of the fear, to relieve him of the stress, and to relieve him of that astonishing situation he was going through. The Prophet Messiah also said something, he also said, women should try to work harder than men because they are the guardians of their husband's home. They are the hope of the training of the next generation and are the trustees of the trust of the community in the form of training under her care. The woman in nature alone, she is a school of training. She is the one who is training both the children and the husband as well.
I like the aspect where you said the woman is the guardian of the home.
Of course. Therefore, the Prophet Muhammad said that, therefore, I say to women that they should honor their dues as the guardians of their home, honor the dues of the next generation rightly, and honor the dues of being the trustees of the trust of the community. Alhamdulillah.
So that means women's status are so high. Without women, how would the community survive with what you are saying? Because they are looking after the house, they are looking after their husband's properties, their children's training and everything.
Of course.
Sister Shah, do you have anything to say about that?
The women are the managers of the home. They take charge of the...
They take charge.
Yes, of the home. Whatever, from the children up to the husband, they have to take charge of the husband. They have to take care of the proper care of the husband, the feeding, the clothing. They are not supposed to provide for the financial aspect, but they see to it that everything is in order.
So whatever the man brings home, it is the responsibility of their wife to make sure. So what about the daughter?
To the daughter.
Sorry, before we go on to the daughter, don't you think there's some advisory roles that the woman play?
Oh, the woman does a lot. She advises the husband whenever they are undertaking any comprehensive they are taking a comprehensive decision. She takes part in the decision making, and she has to advise the husband when she thinks what the husband is doing is not right. Yes, if she says, or if she have a take a date and the husband does not accept, she just back the husband in prayers, and Allah will do just what will be right for them.
So this is a unique role that Islam has given to women, that you have to direct even the actions of your husband and you advise them. Thank you very much. So as I was saying, the status of the woman as a daughter.
There is this Quranic ayah which says, Quran chapter 42 verse 50, He creates what He pleases. He bestows daughters upon whom He pleases, and He bestows sons to whom He pleases. After forbidding the killing of female children, the Holy Prophet elevated the women so much so that he said the female children were to be cherished, and he himself made an example that whenever he sees his daughter Fatima, he only stand up and greet her. That alone was
the prophet stands up to greet her daughter.
Yes, and the treatments he gave to other women made it clear that the daughters were cherished, and that they said that if you are able to raise two righteous females.
Who said?
It is in the Quran, and it's in hadith Muslim, that he who brings up to two girls through their childhood will appear on the day of judgment attached to me like two fingers of a hand.
So that is what the Holy Prophet Muhammad is saying, that if you bring out two daughters and they become righteous during the day of judgment, you will be with him, together with him. That is a serious, yes.
These women are going to also train up the next generation. So if you are able to do that, Islam will prosper.
Yes. Do you have anything to add, please?
Just like my sister was saying, even the second Khalifa has even said that if Islam is able to educate 50% of women in Islam, definitely Islam will develop on grounds and everywhere it goes. It is telling us that
women, we are special, isn't it?
Very, very special. Very, very special. And we have to try as much as we can to develop our children as such, because that is what is going to render us our blessings. It's our ability to transfer that aspect of righteousness in us onto the next generation, onto our children, which is going to ensure a very good community for all to live in, a very peaceful community for all to live in. That is what will render us.
Yes, once the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is our example, can we give some examples of the way the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam treated women? Wow. You have given us one about Hazrat Zainab when she stands up for Hazrat Fatima, right? Do you have any other?
Yeah, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam with his wife Aisha, once they were traveling, and he was on a camel. He got down, and just to entertain the wife, he asked that they should go on a race. So they had to run, and he allowed his wife to win the race. And that alone was a very entertaining aspect for the wife, and she was very happy.
Yeah. Alwansha, do you have anything?
Used to help the wives in the house. He really partook in the household chores. Wow. Yes, just to help them. Yeah. And that made him a perfect example for man to follow.
My sisters, what I want us to move on now is something that is worrying to me a lot. Because if our status, the status of women has been raised like this in Islam, what is happening in this world now? Why are women not seen as such? Why? I mean, what went wrong? Why are women not seen as such, Madam Hannah?
You know, I always say that before you are raised to any standard, you have to raise yourself first. In life, if you don't respect your situation, nobody respects you as such. Yeah. Before you are being respected by a second person, you need to respect yourself as such. So, today's world, we women have allowed ourselves to be in such situation because let's see what goes on on the media, especially the various adverts and stuff we see on the television. You see an advert of a particular product, a male and female producing that product. You see the man who is nicely dressed, and what do you see of the woman?
Short dress.
She's almost naked. She's almost naked. Nobody held her at the back with a gun or a knife to dress that way. She chose to do that. Yeah. So after doing that, how do you expect somebody to respect you? Because what the man has to strive for, what the man has to pay in order to come and enjoy, you're already showing it to the general public. So what do you expect the others to do about that?
We have a lot to talk about in this respect, Madam Aisha.
Of course.
I know you have a lot of things to say.
You see,
but time.
The general masses is ignorant. They are ignorant about the institution of the purdah or the veil.
Yeah.
So that makes this problem a prominent one. You see, when the women are advised, you see, there is no rule without a reason.
Of course.
The Holy Prophet said that the women should draw their head coverings, they should draw it to their bosom, they should guard their chest, and they should just cover the part which is, yes.
So that they will not be molested.
And
they will be honored.
Yes, they will be honored.
We don't have time. Maybe my producer will find time for us to continue this thing, but now we don't have a lot of time. But I want us to go into some allegations. People think that in Islam, because the woman is not always the imam, and it's always men who are imams, that means that we haven't raised the status of women. What do you say about that, Madam Aisha?
Oh, for this, I said earlier that it's for lack of knowledge, my people perish, as some people say. They don't know. Women, when we are praying, sometimes our cue is said that we sometimes are.
When the woman cannot be an imam.
Yes, okay. This for the physique of the woman. The woman is a creature that is so special, so that when she is leading men, you see, when you have diseased men, they cannot even concentrate.
Yeah.
You see,
most men cannot concentrate.
Yes. So that alone makes the woman be, when she is leading, it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
So she has to be at the back.
Yes.
But it's not being at the back, but She can lead other women.
Yes,
But
she can
not
lead
in
other
the midst
women.
of, she can lead other women. Yes, when they are women alone, she can lead. It's only when men are around that she cannot lead. And it is because of the diseased men, the men who have disease in their hearts. Yes.
Sister Hannah, some people also say that because the women are always at the behind the men, that shows that the women's status is lower than men.
That is never true. Islam has never looked down on the status of women. I don't know why people come out with such ideas. We are not merely behind our men. Some of our mosques, when you go there, women are at the top and men are down. In some of them, it's only a division. Men are at one point and the women at another point.
Okay.
And you know, Islam emphasized on segregation.
Segregation, okay.
That is what Islam emphasizes on.
Okay.
And like my sister said, with the physique, the nature of the woman, when she is standing in front of man, it will bring a whole lot of issues. So I think that idea of Islam looking down upon women is not true. And even let's go to the various churches and look at what goes on there. You go to the church, in the name of singing and dancing, you see what the woman is wearing, just mixing with the men, and all kind of things are happening. It's not right. How can a man pray to God in such a situation, or how can a woman pray to God in such a situation?
Yes. It's time is not allowing us. Sister Aisha, please, can we give specific examples of ways in which Islam has honored women?
Yeah. Here, the Holy Prophet said that women were created from the same soul as men. So we are equal before Allah. Whatever deed that a woman does, the reward will be the same of that of the man. So we are equal before Allah in religion. Yes.
Do you have any women in Islam whose status has been raised? That's a specific example.
Hazrat Hajra, let everybody look at the status in which Allah Almighty raised Hazrat Hajra when her husband left her in the desert, when there was no food, when there was no water, with a little baby, when she has to run up and down 7 times, praying to the Almighty Allah to show His mercy on him. And we all saw what Allah did, where He made the Zamzam come and He had something to give to His son. Through that, through the Zamzam came, Muslims are to go to and perform Hajj and go to such areas or to see some of the wonders
what a woman did.
So Allah Almighty never looked down upon women. So I'm entreating the society to carefully take a look at that issue of women being overlooked upon and render issues that will help the whole
Yes, I know that if we have to go into the status of women, we have a lot to say, but time will not allow us. So, Sister Aisha, please, can you give your last words, your final words?
Okay. Well, what I would like to say to women is that we should observe the institution of Perda, and that alone will help us to elevate ourselves from the gutters. Yes. If we are able to observe the Perda, so many problems will be solved. There wouldn't be rape, there wouldn't be prostitution, and even the men will not even have the women to have sex with. Sorry. Yes. So we will not be derided, we will not be ill-treated. So that is what I entreat all women to do. And we should also take heed to the training of our children. Yes. Both the male and the female. Yes.
And in our training, we should let them know that they are both equal, and whatever each of them does, they will. Your final words, Mami Hannah.
My dear, what I will add is that women, with all due respect, we should try as much as we can to respect ourselves. In whatever situation you find yourself, we should know that we have been made to make a home. Without a woman in a house, the place is just a mere house. With a woman in the house, the place is a home. It's a very comforting home, and it can only be a very comforting home when that woman too is very prayerful. Women have to be very prayerful to guard our husbands. We have to be very prayerful in the training of our children, because we have the responsibility of creating the next peaceful community.
Yes, we have the responsibility of creating the next peaceful community. All too soon, our time is up. Indeed, Islam is a beautiful religion and has taken care of women in a beautiful way. We should therefore, as women, be grateful to Allah for all the favors He has bestowed upon us as women. Let us not degrade our status with our own behavior, but continue to walk on the straight path and pray that Rabbi awzi'ni an ashkura nimataka allazi an'amta alayya wa ala walidayya wa an amala salihan tardahu wa an amala salihan tardahu. That means, my Lord, grant me that I may be grateful for thy favor which thou hast bestowed upon me and upon my parents, and I may do such righteous deeds as may please thee, and establish righteousness among my progeny for me. I do turn to thee, and truly I am of those who are obedient to thee. Holy Quran chapter 46, verse 16. Until we meet again in another edition of A Woman's Perspective, may Allah protect us. Stay safe. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa